Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the School District of Springfield Township Board of School Directors Regular Board Meeting, April 18th, 2017. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Reading of the mission statement. Dr. Taratusky, would you kindly?
The mission of the School District of Springfield Township is to educate and develop all students as learners and citizens who are high-achieving, resilient, and responsible in a changing global community.
Thank you. Roll call, Mr. King.
Mr. Chapman. Here. Ms. Casalis. Mr. Lapidus. Ms. Nelson. Mr. Rayer. Here. Ms. Sarsfield. Here. Dr. Taratusky. Here. Mr. Taylor. Here. Ms. Lipinski.
Here. Number 6, announcements. The board, at its discretion, may videotape all or any portion of public board meetings subject to the limitations set forth in Policy 006.2, Broadcasting of Meetings. Board meetings will be broadcast on Friday afternoon following the board meeting. Are there any public comments on agenda items? Approval of minutes. March 7th, 2017, interim meeting, board minutes N. March 21st, 2017, regular meeting, board minutes O. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Is there a second? Any questions or comments?
Mr. Chapman. Aye. Mr. Rayer. Aye. Ms. Sarsfield. Aye. Dr. Taratusky. Aye. Mr. Taylor. Aye. Ms. Lipinski.
Aye. Approval of Treasurer's Report. Treasurer's Report G. Is there a motion? Motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Any questions or comments?
Mr. Chapman. Aye. Mr. Rayer. Aye. Ms. Sarsfield. Dr. Taratusky. Aye. Mr. Taylor. Aye. Ms. Lipinski.
Aye. Reports and information. District PTA Report. Sharon Panera.
Hello. Do I have to push this? No? Okay. I did not receive a report from the EEHP. I believe tonight they are having their carnival meeting, so I'm assuming next month you'll get a lengthy report from them regarding what's their spring is looking like. The first thing I want to tell you guys is about our mini grants, and I did give you all a copy of our mini grants. Something that we're very proud of, and Erin Durham and her team work extremely hard on this. I'm proud to say that we spent all $5,000 of our budget this year. This is just our spring mini grants, and as you can see, our money is going to a lot of awesome programs that our teachers are trying to do within their classrooms. And I think, you know, if you see, like for instance, the hat making service project, I believe, and I might be incorrect on this, but I think the hats that the service project that they're making will go to babies at a hospital, like little baby caps and things like that. And next year, we're going to try to see, we get a lot of mini grants from our high school teachers. And we did have a few this round with our middle school teachers. But next year, we really would like to get our middle school teachers more involved in our mini grants and see if we can start, you know, supplying some more stuff to the middle school as well. So that was that. We used up almost all of our $5,000. I think we have like $109 left. So budgeted very well. Next on our agenda, spring is always busy. Working with Dr. Rittenhouse, and I would like to work with the middle school principals about scheduling their appreciation luncheon. It's just one way that the PTA likes to give back to our teachers and express how much we do appreciate everything that they do to support our children. So hopefully they're, within the next month or so, are going to have a really nice luncheon from fellow mom and community member Vicki Ard at Philabagel. So I'm anxious to get that together for them. High school graduation is coming up, and the PTA has approved $500 worth of awards for our high school seniors. And we always give $100 for the cake that is served at the senior luncheon. So those two items have been rewarded. And something, I don't know if anyone has been here long enough, but in the past, the PTA always used to hand out bottles of water at graduation. And the past few years, with our budgeting and with our low memberships, we just haven't had the money to put out for water. And I think it's very nice to get a bottle of water when you walk into the graduation ceremony. So at our meeting this month, Dr. Rittenhouse and our board, we decided to ask for a water drive and see if anybody would donate some cases of water to us, and whatever little funds we do have left, we'll buy water. They're putting it in the hallway of the high school, and the PTA will set up a table, and every parent and guest that comes in will get a complimentary bottle of water from the PTA with some help of our community, hopefully. Our 8th grade activities are going very well. We approved $340 for the Moving Up Awards for our 8th graders. Something new this year, after the Moving Up ceremony, they always have a little reception in the audience, and we always ask for donations of cake, donuts and breakfasty type foods. This year I decided, since we're giving the high school $100 for a cake, we're giving the 8th graders $100 for a cake. So that's one less thing we have to worry about getting donations for. The committee is doing a great job. They're working really hard. Our 8th graders will enjoy a Hollywood-themed dance. Yearbook, I hear, is going fantastic, and they're get their yearbook party. I also heard they're doing really awesome T-shirts this year, where the T-shirts will be designed specifically for each child, and it will be done right at the dance. So it's something they'll go right home with. So I'm anxious to see what that turns out to be like. We also sponsor the 6th graders, and they usually have an end-of-year picnic, and we're waiting to hear from our 6th grade coordinator what the 6th grade team is planning on doing with that this year. And what else do I have for you? We had talked in the beginning of the year, here's my notes, at one of our PTA meetings where the PTA wanted to work with the high school with possibly having call, don't stall assembly here. It's in reference to alcohol poisoning and unfortunately people young ones passing away from that. And forgive me, but I forget her name. Our social worker here at the high school did go and see a preview of that assembly. And given the year that our students had this year, we thought we would put that on hold for our junior seniors until next year. The content was very graphic, and our kids had a tough year. We don't need to make it worse for them. We want them to have fun. And that is all I have for you. We do have 2 members leaving, Betty Messer, our treasurer, and our Vice President Megan, and we think we have 2 people that will step up and be VPs next year. I said I would stay another year since it's going to be another transition year, and we need a co-treasurer. So if you know anyone who would like to help out, they know where to find us. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Sharon?
Yes.
Before you go, first of all, put me down for a case of water.
Okay.
If you remind me, I'll be happy to contribute a case
Okay.
to your effort. I just want to thank you for not only all of the wonderful things that you described that you and your team of folks on the PTA do for our secondary school students, and how conscious you are of the things that our students need and want and enjoy. We really appreciate that.
Thank you.
But in particular, I just want to thank you for the tremendous amount of support you're giving our teachers through these mini grants. I'm particularly happy to see that a number of them have requested makerspace items because it furthers the STEM initiatives that we're trying to continue to build up and support throughout the district. And it's wonderful that they know that they can simply write out an application and get this kind of funding in order to help further the activities that they're planning which support the curriculum.
Well, I had hoped to do a fundraiser this year. We talked about doing a bingo, coach bingo thing. And what we were planning on doing with those funds, and I talked to Dr. Rittenhouse about this at our meeting, was we put money into the 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. They get a line budget on our budget every year. But we do not support the 9th through 12th graders with a line item budget. Whatever money they make in surplus at 8th grade, once they pay back their $1,000 to the PTA, they can take that money with them into the 9th grade. In doing additional fundraising, what we would like to do with that money is, whatever we make, put it into the 9th, 10th, 11th grade, kitty, and even if it, will help buy 10 yearbooks for kids or lower the price of prom or, something like that. But unfortunately, we did not have enough membership to have enough money to put out to do a fundraiser. So we're hoping next year that our membership will grow and that we'll have a little bit of, seed money there to make some money. And with that, I truly agree with the mini grants. However much we make, if we could throw an extra couple of $1,000s into that line item, I think it's the best money spent on our teachers and our kids. So that's what we're planning on hopefully doing. But thank you for your kind words. I appreciate it.
Moving on to reports of committees. Is there a Finance Committee report?
Of course, there's.
Ben's going to do it. Hello, Ben.
Is that okay if I do it?
Yes.
Ken, you want to? Thank you, Madam Chairwoman. The Finance Committee met on April 6th to discuss several matters. We elected a chairperson of the committee. That would be me. We then discussed the high school K2 and stadium projects and how to finance those, and have some options that we're looking at, trying to take advantage of the best financing techniques to save taxpayers money to do the financings that we need to do. We then discussed the proposed final budget for the coming year and the various tax increases that would be required to fund that. We talked about expenditures, and as I think the board is aware, PSERS continues to be a major drain to fund the retirement system that is requiring almost 30% of retirement salaries to fund it. So we continue to try and figure out ways to manage expenses down and at the same time fund a budget that will support the schools in the way we need to do that. And then last, we discussed some recent real estate developments that are going on in the township that would add to the tax revenue base, which would be a terrific help to the township. And we held an executive session, which we will have an item on the agenda tonight to vote on, to do an appraisal of a property. Questions?
Thank you. Now we will have a Property Committee report.
Good evening. The Property Committee meeting was on Monday, April 10th at 8:15 in the Administrative Conference Room. We had some additional attendees there, which was Dewey Engineering, the Schrader Design Group, architects, and we had several community members show up. What was discussed was high school renovations by Dewey Engineering and discussing phase 1 of the stadium, Track, turf, and lighting, the start date for that is June 19th of 2017. Phase 2 is for the HVAC upgrades. That is scheduled to start on July 15 of 2017. Schrader Design Group discussed Phase 3. The start date for that is April of 2018. There'll be some exterior site work design and the auxiliary gym and interior renovations. The second agenda was the K-2 elementary design. The start date for that is October of 2018. There's going to be a review on March 23rd, which will be a community meeting. Schrader Design Group had a presentation that was 3D on the exterior view and floor plans. And also there was approval of a geotechnical firm to perform geotechnical investigation on the Antonella site in the preparation for the new building. I believe that's on tonight's agenda. Third item was an update on the township review process. There was an attendance at the Planning Commission meeting, which was Tuesday, April the 4th. We received full board support for approved land development waiver for the stadium project. The next step is to seek Township Board and Commissioners' approval at the April meetings. Workshop meeting is scheduled for April 10th, or was April 10th, and the business meeting on April 12th. And the Township has granted the district permission to dispose of excess soils from the stadium project at the tank car site. Number 4 was the summer project update for the high school pool regrouting bid, the bid opening for the regrouting of the pool, and the high school auditorium roof concerns. There's been some leakage there. We had some public comments on the field hockey field, about the practice and games on the new turf field, and a request that hockey lines be painted on the stadium field, and the committee will further investigate those. And we also decided that the committee agreed not to hold any separate meetings right now for Plan Con. There'll be some updated coming dates on those in the future. That's it.
Thank you. Now for the administrative report, Dr. Nancy Hacker.
Thank you, Mrs. Slapinski. Just 2 items that I wanted to mention. As Mr. Taylor reported through his Property Committee report, and as you heard from Mr. Rayer's Finance Committee report as well, there has been a lot going on, and certainly you'll continue to see agenda items each month pertaining to both our K-2 elementary school development project as well as our high school projects that are ongoing as well. And I just wanted to remind the board and the public as well that these recommendations that are coming forth as the result of continued progress and work are the result of intensive scheduled meetings that we hold every single week. We operate on an every other week basis for the high school projects and then an every other week basis for the elementary project, which means that members of the core team, including myself, Mr. King, Mr. Thorne, and various administrators are meeting every single week, having discussions about these projects. And the meetings oftentimes go 3 to 4 hours long. So I just wanted to bring everyone up to date and let you know that there's an intensive amount of work and effort that goes into the recommendations that are coming forward, as well as preparing for community meetings that we have. And of course, as you've heard Mr. Taylor just mentioned, the township meetings that we're having in order to go before the Planning Commission and the other aspects of the approvals that we need from the township. There's considerable preparation, and I just want to give a shout out to Mr. Thorne, because many of those township meetings take place on the first Tuesday of the month, which is when we have an interim board meeting scheduled. So if you don't see Mr. Thorne here, it's because he's busy attending those planning meetings. So I just want to thank Craig for offering up his time for that. I also, on a separate note, just want to thank Craig. We apparently had a very large plumbing catastrophe on Monday evening at Erdenheim Elementary School, and there was huge leakage, and Mr. Thorne and his staff were on it in the afternoon and worked diligently in order to be able to make sure that we were able to open school on time this morning. So Craig, thanks to you and your guys for taking care of that. The other thing that I just wanted to mention that, again, the board members may not be cognizant of, except unless, of course, you were on the negotiations team and you receive an update from me. I did send out an update today based on an April 7th meeting, but we are in the process of continuing negotiations with our Teachers Association, STEA. And we continue to meet with them also every other week, so those negotiations are ongoing and are progressing. So I just wanted to give everyone an update on that. Thank you.
Moving on to new business. Number 1, personnel attachment, recommended motion. The Board of School Directors approves the following personnel as presented in the attachment: certificated personnel, support personnel, conference workshop attendance. Is there a motion? Is there a second? Any questions or comments?
Mr. Chapman? Aye. Mr. Ryer? Yes. Ms. Sarsfield? Aye. Dr. Teretuski? Aye. Mr. Taylor? Aye. Ms. Lipinski?
Aye. Number 2, overnight field trip, recommended motion. The Board of School Directors approves Thespian Troupe 1154 to attend the International Thespian Festival at the University of Nebraska from June 19th through June 25th, 2017. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Is there a second? Second. Any questions or comments? Okay, Mr. King?
Mr. Chapman? Aye. Mr. Ryer? Aye. Ms. Sarsfield? Aye. Dr. Teretuski? Aye. Mr. Taylor? Aye. Ms. Lipinski?
Aye. Number 3, diesel fuel, gasoline, and heating oil bid, recommended motion. The Board of School Directors approves the attached award of bids for following purchase of fuels for 2017-2018 to petroleum traders through the Montgomery County Intermediate Unit Purchasing Consortium. A, $1.7408 per gallon for diesel fuel. B, $1.5914 per gallon for, per gasoline, gallon for gasoline. Okay, sorry. C, $1.7111 per gallon for heating oil. Is there a motion? Motion. Is there a second? Second. Any questions or comments?
I was just gonna say, we all wish we could get our gas at that price.
Mr. Chapman? Aye. Mr. Ryan? Aye. Ms. Sarsfield? Dr. Teretuski?
Aye.
Mr. Taylor? Aye. Ms. Lipinski?
Aye. Number 4, approval of appraisal services, recommended motion. The Board of School Directors, at the recommendation of the Finance Committee, approves the proposal, and I know I'm going to murder this name, Mastroini and Associates, Inc., to perform appraisal services regarding an assessment appeal on parcel number 52-00-15655-00-7 in the amount of $8,500 plus expenses and additional court-related services at the indicated rates. Is there a motion? Motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Any questions or comments?
Mr. Chapman? Aye. Mr. Ryer? Aye. Ms. Sarsfield? Aye. Dr. Teretuski?
Aye.
Mr. Taylor? Aye. Ms. Lipinski?
Aye. Number 5, approval of geotechnical services agreement, recommended motion. The Board of School Directors, at the recommendation of the Schrader Group Architecture, LLC, approves the attached agreement with Earth Engineering, Inc. to perform a geotechnical investigation concerning the K-2 elementary school project in the amount of $12,725 plus expenses and additional services at the indicated rates. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Is there a second? Any questions or comments?
Mr. Chapman? Aye. Mr. Ryer? Aye. Ms. Sarsfield? Aye. Dr. Teretuski?
Aye.
Mr. Taylor? Aye. Ms. Lipinski?
Aye. Number 6, approval of MCIU 2017-2018 Access Subcontract Agreement. Recommended motion. The Board of School Directors approves the attached agreement for the coordination of the district's access program billing with the Montgomery County Intermediate Unit for the period of July 1st, 2017 through June 30th, 2018, attachment GG. Is there a motion?
Motion?
Is there a second?
Second.
Any questions or comments?
Just ask a question about how our reimbursement from Access has been this year? Or are we,
I don't have those numbers offhand.
okay, all right, just wondering.
Is that something we can look into maybe? Or
Mhm.
Okay.
That's fine.
Um,
The reimbursement, the revenue that we have received year-to-date is about $45,000.
Is that better or worse?
That's as of today. The access revenue comes in globs.
Mm-hmm,
It's also, it's really not consistent.
okay.
I think since we've been with the IU, we probably have received in excess of $500,000 in revenue.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Mr. Chapman? Aye. Mr. Ray? Aye. Ms. Sarsfield?
Aye.
Dr. Teratosky?
Aye.
Mr. Taylor? Aye. Ms. Lipinski?
Aye. Number 7, approval of high school Phase 2 Central Plant HVAC. Recommended motion. The Board of School Directors, at the recommendation of the Property Committee, awards the base bid and alternate number 3 to Myco Mechanical, Inc. to perform medical upgrades at the high school in the amount of $954,000. Is there a motion? Is there a second? Any questions or comments?
Are these upgrades associated with the expansion or just current building upgrades?
This is Phase 2, which is a replacement and upgrading to the existing HVAC.
Okay, thanks.
I just wanted to add that we're not waiting until we do the renovations because they really need this done now. So that's why we've phased the project. Anyone else?
Mr. Chapman? Aye. Mr. Rayer? Aye. Ms. Sarsfield?
Aye.
Dr. Teratosky?
Aye.
Mr. Taylor? Aye. Ms. Lipinski?
Aye. Number 8, approval of high school pool bid. Recommended motion. The Board of School Directors, at the recommendation of the Property Committee, awards the base bid and alternate number 1 to DG March and Associates Environmat Company, Inc. to perform the regrouting of the high school pool in the amount of $48,780. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Is there a second? Second. Any questions or comments? Mr. King?
Mr. Chapman? Aye. Mr. Rayer? Aye. Ms. Sarsfield?
Aye.
Dr. Teratosky?
Aye.
Mr. Taylor? Aye. Ms. Lipinski?
Aye. Number 9, approval of high school stadium project. Recommended motion. The Board of School Directors, at the recommendation of the Property Committee, approves the following vendors for the upgrades to the track, stadium lighting, and site work improvements in a total amount not to exceed $2,478,831, contingent upon the issuance of required permits. A, field turf for track materials and synthetic turf in the amount of $851,076. B, Mid-Atlantic Sports Construction for the site preparation work in the amount of $1,381,734. And C, National Energy Solutions for the lighting upgrades in the amount of $246,021. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Is there a second? Any questions or comments?
I do have a question. The original budget for the stadium project was what, and how does this number come in with
The original budget was in excess of 2.5 million. So this number is actually $90,000 below that. You're talking about the whole project in itself? Yes.
So it was 2.5, the original
It's
estimate
over
was
2.5.
2.5?
Yeah, it's about $90,000 below.
Below, okay, thank you.
And I would just like to add to that, that when we had our last meeting with our architect group and Dewey Engineering, and all of the construction folks were in the room, it was one of our normal, typical project meetings. The estimates that came in were significantly higher, and we were over budget. And Mr. King and some of the members of the, Mr. Thorne, Mr. King, and some of the members of Dewey Engineering agreed to contact Field Turf and the other company representatives to have a sit-down with them the week before spring break. It turned out to be approximately a 3-hour meeting, but as a result of that meeting, as you can see, we did come in significantly under budget. They were willing to negotiate, they were willing to work with us, and I just want to, again, thank not only the team that we hired, but also our own representatives, Mr. Thorne and Mr. King, for their efforts in managing those negotiations.
Yeah, it's great work. I was also looking at the bids, seeing that we got them to donate tick marks for all the sports but field hockey, so maybe see what they would be willing to do for field hockey.
As a matter of fact, we're going to do field hockey. Mr. Thorne has agreed that he's going to put the markings down for field hockey practices and games.
I just wanted to add a clarification to that. The Phase 3 of the high school project, field hockey is going to get their own turf field, but in the meantime, they really want to get use on this turf field as much as possible. So, you know, we're trying to work with the team, and I know that the high school is working really hard to try to find some times where the field hockey team can get on the new turf field in the stadium while they're waiting for their own field. So we don't want to put their lines in permanently, but we discussed that there's potential to have it on there temporarily, so that they can use it for practices.
Mr. Chang. Aye. Mr. Ray. Aye. Ms. Sarsfield. Aye. Dr. Teretuski. Aye. Mr. Taylor. Aye. Ms. Lipinski.
Aye. Number 10, approval of high school traffic study agreement, recommended motion. The Board of School Directors, at the recommendation of the Schrader Group Architecture LLC, approves the agreement with Traffic Planning and Design, Inc. to perform a traffic impact study and a highway occupancy permit design concerning the high school improvement projects in the amount of $29,800 plus expenses. Is there a motion? Is there a second? Any questions or comments?
Mr. Chang. Aye. Mr. Ray. Aye. Ms. Sarsfield. Aye. Dr. Teretuski. Aye. Mr. Taylor. Aye. Ms. Lipinski.
Aye. Number 11, Act 80 days, recommended motion. The Board of School Directors approves the application to PDE for 4 Act 80 days to bring the senior calendar to 180 days. Is there a motion? Is there a second? Any questions or comments?
I just don't know what it is.
Typically, in most districts, the seniors graduate before they've met their 180-day requirement. So PDE has a special exemption for them where they allow in-service days that teachers attend to count towards that 180 days, because the justification is that the teachers are going to use the knowledge from the in-service days in order to teach the students, so that they will get the benefit of those in-service days. So that's why the state allows Act 80 days to be granted, but you have to apply for them.
And we've done this historically.
We have, most districts do it, and we've done it for many, many, many years.
Mr. Chang. Mr. Ray. John wanted to vote no. Aye.
Aye.
You'd have a mutiny on your hands. That's all I have to say, Mr. Rayer. Enough that will come storming your home.
Not to mention all the graduation planning would be thrown off, so which would be a problem. Are there any public comments on non-agenda items?
Public comment on an agenda item. It's just a question, really.
If you would just give us your name and address, please.
Dr. Edward Kohler, 5 Shepherd's Way, Glenside, Pennsylvania. On agenda items such as number 1, certified personnel, support personnel, and so forth, why do we not know what personnel it is? Is it a teacher? Is it a cafeteria worker? Is it someone to direct traffic? That's number 1 question. And number 2 question is, why, before the board votes on any of these items, do you not open up these items to public comment so that the public can comment on them prior to the board voting?
Public comment would enable you to comment on them before the board votes. You have to sign up prior to the meeting beginning, and then you are able to comment on any items on the agenda. So any member of the public would have the opportunity to comment on those. However, I will say that because most of these items pertain to personnel, and that discussion could be confidential or classified.
Well, I didn't ask for the person's name, but what position is it? Is it a cafeteria worker or maintenance worker or whatever?
Yes, I'm going to explain that,
Okay.
Dr. Kohler. What I was going to say is that depending upon what the individual from the public is asking, there may not be a specific response to the question because it does pertain to personnel, and some personnel items are confidential. In respect to your original question, this pertains to our professional staff members as well as our support staff members, as well as other employees that we may employ, for example, pool employees and lifeguards and so forth.
But we, the public, do not know who they are. I mean, we don't know what positions they are. We, the public, don't know.
Well, it is part of the regular agenda. And
Well,
most of,
I've been here for the whole time, and I don't know who they are.
okay, you may not have seen the attachment. It's always listed in a separate attachment that is made public. It should be in the binder. It is public.
Thank you. That might answer most of my questions if it's
Okay.
over there.
And I think once you take a look at it, you'll see the types of things that are typically approved. It's, for example, it's professional development conference attendance. It includes when a
Thank you.
staff member,
I didn't have that.
it includes when a staff member gets graduate credits and moves to a master's level or master's plus 30. It approves tenure for professional staff when they achieve tenure in the district, when they transfer positions in the district, and so forth. So you'll be able to see from the attachment.
Thank you.
You're
And then one more item is you're approving $8,500 to do a real estate firm to do an appraisal of property number 52-00. What property? It's not an address on here, and I'm sure nobody here has memorized. Do we know what property that is?
We do.
Item number 4.
We do.
Do we, the public, know?
Anytime we refer to a property, we refer to it by its assessment number.
Yeah.
Mr. King, do you happen to have it offhand where the address is? This is not a private residence. This is it's not a homeowner's residence.
It's public money you're spending to fight a real estate thing, and that I understand.
Actually, let me correct
Okay.
what may perhaps be a misimpression. We're actually fighting to get more money in this assessment appeal.
Correct, I understand that.
What happened was when the property was originally bought and assessed, it was assessed at a certain rate. The property sold for significantly more than what it had been assessed at. And so
Right.
what we are fighting for is for the assessment to be based on the sale price.
I'm all for that, but as a member of the public, shouldn't we, the member of the public, know what the address is for which we are spending $8,500 to a real estate firm to help you get more money? That I understand and I completely approve. But we, the public, shouldn't we know, shouldn't the veil out of this be pulled away and just give us the address, let alone
Okay.
what the number is?
All right, our attorney, Mr. Berman, is going to respond.
What you're entitled to is to know that the board is spending money for professional services, and who was hired to do those professional services, and the nature of the services being performed. You don't necessarily have a right, just as any member of the public, to know exactly which property is being looked at by the assessor, by the appraiser. That's not what the requirement is for this. You may think that there's some moral obligation, but legally there's no obligation for the board to give that information at this point, because there may be some benefit to the board and the district in keeping that information not secret, but at least confidential for the time being.
All right, thank you.
And I'm just curious, I know that executive sessions can be for real estate, and I believe that this was what the executive session was for at the Finance Committee. So this would fall under those guidelines of being under an executive.
It can be. I don't know what happened at the executive session, so I don't know whether this was, to the extent this was covered.
Okay. Great. Thank you. Oh, sure, come on up.
Hello, how are you?
Hi, if you could please tell us your name and your address.
Yes, Dr. Angela Beal Tawfiq, 525 East Willow Grove Avenue. How are you?
Good.
Well, so I guess I just have an inquiry and a possible proposal with regard to more of a physical education health kind of initiative that I was wondering if the district or possibly being able to build collaboratives between universities and CBOs and national-based organizations might be possible. An upcoming new initiative by the American Red Cross is something called International Water Safety Day. And International Water Safety Day is something that, as my children take swimming lessons here, I'm definitely have been very excited about, but it also brings attention to a national neglected public health threat of drowning at a global level, but also at the national level, and particularly impacting African American, Hispanic, and Latino children at 5.5 times a higher rate than white American children in the United States today. As this initiative is coming about, there has been an outreach, and it's an opening kind of campaign that the American Red Cross and Diversity in Aquatics is actually going to be rolling out that can actually just call for districts trying to bring a basic awareness to this cause on a large scale. And the goal this year is to hit 1 million children wide and families just with regard to knowledge and awareness. Because when you're looking at really why drowning rates are so high, is supervision or lack of supervision thereof is really one of the #1 causes with a myriad of others. So my question is, would the board, or how could a parent or the public begin to build such a collaborative? For example, at Temple University, we have a program called the Stroke in the Right Direction, which is another partner with the American Red Cross and Diversity in Aquatics that would love to basically organize this with the health and physical education and school district worldwide, but I mean in terms of district-wide, with regard to possibly on that day, it comes with a wonderful little curriculum. Teachers actually, it's not anything that parents can do. Packets come, parents can do everything, but teachers, schools could come together just with, you can get a sticker just to simply make an announcement maybe that day about International Water Safety Day. It comes with 10 wonderful rules about how to be, safe, and it really definitely follows in line, especially as my kids go through swimming gym here. So I just, wanted to present that to the board, and if you could, just any feedback, it'd be greatly appreciated.
Angela, thank you for giving us that information. First of all, what is the date of International Water Safety Day?
Yes, May 15th of every year it will be now.
Okay, so
but
we
May
have
15th.
plenty of time.
Yes, we do.
And if you can get the information to me, then I can disseminate it out in the schools so we can make sure we get it out.
Okay, so I'd love to just meet with you because you can like log on and it's really keep it simple, smart. So I think, when it is that way, it's really a great thing to do.
It sounds great. Thank you so
Okay,
much for
thank
bringing it
you.
to our attention.
Thank you.
I think we're good. Is there anyone else with any public comments? Future meeting dates. Interim board meeting, Tuesday, May 2nd, 2017, 7 PM, Freeze Memorial Lobby. School board meeting, Monday, May 15th, 2017, 7 PM in the Freeze Memorial Lobby. There will be an Academic Affairs Committee meeting on Tuesday, April 25th, 2017, at 5:30 PM in the Administration Building. Thanks, everyone. Have a good night. Motion to adjourn.